Hi. In this form style class, we're going to work on all of the actions that are needed for a good Bakasana or crow pose. All right, I will give you some indications for when to use the blocks, particularly during that crow pose, which can be helpful. And then if you're nervous with arm balances and you would like to have like a little crash pad or something, just in case, if that would help you feel more confident, then a blanket will be helpful as well. So you can just sit that to the side, the blanket to the side, and can pull that out when we get to the arm balance at the end. All right, find a comfortable seat, sit up nice and tall. Lift your heart, roll your shoulders back. You can close your eyes or just let your gaze be soft and unfocused. Bring your awareness to the stability of the ground underneath you, and then consciously release any unneeded effort or tension down into that support. Then, once more, stretch up through the crown of your head, lift your heart, lengthen your spine. And it's with this nice upright posture that we can more easily begin to deepen our breath. So take the next couple of moments to find a fuller, deeper breath. Allow your breath to flow in and out through your nose. And we don't always talk about one of the benefits of the breath being this internal stability that the breath provides you. It helps you tone the muscles, particularly in your core. But it also just gives you this sense of support from the inside. So see if, as you continue to find that full, deep, easeful breath, you can notice that fuller, deeper breath helps you support this upright posture. And then see if you can continue this fuller, deeper breath throughout your practice so that your breath continues to support you, especially as we get to the arm balance at the end. And bring your palms together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. You can close your eyes if you haven't already. And then feel free to set an intention for your practice. And maybe that intention is to maintain this full, deep breath throughout your practice. Or maybe it's something else that you need from your yoga practice. So hold your intention in your heart. And then honor your intention by bowing your head to your heart. Release your hands, lift your chin, and open your eyes. Let's start lying down on our back. So once you're down on your back, just find a comfortable position. So that can be Shavasana-like, where your arms and legs are extended. Of course, you can bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet to the mat if that would feel better. But if it's comfortable for you this early in practice, bring the soles of your feet together and open your knees wide. And if you've got those blocks and want some extra support here, you can slide the blocks underneath your knees or underneath your thighs so you feel a little more supported. Let's take just a few breaths here. And again, just like you did seated, notice or recognize the support of the floor underneath you. And then consciously allow yourself to release any unneeded effort or tension down into that support. If your mind has wandered, bring your attention and awareness back to that full, deep, supportive breath. And don't worry if you're not feeling that support. It's a subtle, kind of energetic feeling. Just hold that intention of the full deep breath supporting you throughout your practice. Two more breaths here. And then bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet flat to the mat. Hug your right knee into your chest. First, squeeze it in, stillness. And then add some movement here. You can roll through your hip or through your ankle, or both. Then cross your right ankle over your left knee for a figure 4 position. This pose is called Tsuki Rendrasana. And you can stay here, flex your right ankle, spread your toes, or feel free to hug your legs in closer and clasp your hands behind your left thigh or the front of your left shin. Release your left foot to the mat if it's lifted, uncross your legs, and then pull your left knee into your chest. First, hug it in with stillness. And then add any movement that would feel good. Circle through your ankle or through your hip or both. And cross your left ankle over your right knee. For Suki Rendrasana, flex your left ankle, spread your toes. And again, you can stay here or hug your legs in close. Remembering the sides of our body often feel quite different in these asymmetrical poses. So if you need to make a different choice on this side, depending on what you're feeling in your body, then please do. And then release your right foot to the mat if it was lifted. Uncross your legs, hug your knees into your chest, both of them. You can add some movement here. Then spread your arms wide like a T and lower both knees over to the right side for the twist. Bring your knees back to center, lower them to the left side. And bring your knees back to center, hug them in. And then begin to rock a couple times along your spine, front to back. Nice and gentle here. And then just rock yourself up to seated. Okay, we're going to do a Navasana, a boat pose, to get our abdominal muscles firing up. But first, sit nice and tall with your knees bent and bring your hands to the ground behind you. Let your fingers point in whichever direction feels the most comfortable. Then, tone your belly, lift your chest, and roll your shoulders back. Bring your awareness to your breath. As you inhale, let your chest lift with your breath, that expansion in your lungs. Keep that lift of your chest as you exhale. Do that again. Inhale, let your chest lift. Keep your chest lifted and open. Exhale. Good. One more time. Inhale deeply. Keep your heart lifting. Exhale. You can certainly stay here with your feet flat on the mat or maybe rise to your tippy toes. We're going to incrementally make this more challenging. You can stop at any point along this journey, maybe hover your toes off the mat. See if you can do that while still keeping your spine long and your heart lifting. You will feel a little rounding, especially as your legs lift higher through your low back. That's expected, but see if you can keep your chest lifting. Maybe lift your shins parallel to the mat. If that's going well, maybe even straighten your legs. Keep your heart lifting. Your hands can stay behind you, or maybe bring them forward behind your thighs. No matter what your legs are doing, you can add this arm variation, or maybe float your arms forward. See if you can keep your heart lifting. Heart. Keep breathing. Nice. Hug both knees into your chest. Good. Okay, let's roll back down onto our back. Hug your knees into your chest. Keep the inner edges of your feet together and take your knees wide. Okay? So you've got kind of like a triangle shape with your legs. Then reach your arms up to the sky. Now, lift your head and shoulders up and bring your outer knees towards your outer arms. And if they meet your outer arms and inner knees, squeeze your knees against your arms. Keep your head and shoulders lifting. Keep the inner edges of your feet together. Pull your heels towards your hips. It's getting harder for me to talk. You're doing very well. 2 more breaths. Good. And release. Take a big full body stretch here. Let's do that one more time. This is basically crow pose lying on our back. It's not necessarily easier. In some ways, it's a lot harder, but I think, or what I hope you're feeling is that good, strong work in your core, which is one of the key features of a good Bakasana or good crow pose. All right, pull your knees into your chest. Keep the inner edges of your feet together and take your knees wide. Reach your arms up to the sky. Then lift your head and shoulders, curl in. Bring your knees closer to your upper arms. They may or may not touch. If they do, squeeze your knees against your upper arms. Keep breathing. Pull your heels towards your hips. 2 more breaths. Good. Release again. Take a big full body stretch. And then as we did before, hug your knees in. Rock a couple times along your spine because it feels good. And rock up to seated. Okay, swing your legs around and find your child's pose. So from a tabletop position, actually, let's do this together. I should have said that. Bring your big toes to touch, walk your knees wide. So we're in kind of a weird tabletop position. Now, lift your chin, look forward. Bring your hips back to your heels, but don't lower all the way down just yet. Now, your hips don't have to come all the way back to your heels. If they do, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. Keep your chin lifting. Press your hands down into the mat and then away from you. Your hands won't move, but what you may feel is that your hips feel heavier. They may even press more fully back towards your heels. Then tone your belly back and walk your hands forward, 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 and lower your forehead down, either to the ground, or if you prefer a little space here, add a block under your forehead. So now we're in a nice extended child's pose. You can even exaggerate this length along the sides of your body by continuing to press down and away from you with your hands. Good. They want both hands over to the right until you feel a stretch along your left side. Walk your hands back through center and over to the left until you feel a stretch along your right side. Come back to center. And inhale, rise back up to tabletop, walk your knees back underneath your hips. All right, let's do just a little bit of movement. So as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin, look up. Exhale, round your back, release your head and neck down. Do that a few more times with your breath. If this is feeling good, you can stay with cat-cow. But if you'd like a different movement, do that instead. Maybe swing your hips side to side, front to back in circles, etc. When you're ready to add in downward facing dog, please feel free. You can continue to flow down dog back to tabletop or child's pose, or move within your downward facing dog. Great. Let's take 2 or 3 more breaths. We'll meet in down dog. And then from down dog, inhale, come forward to plank pose. Tone your belly, press the ground away from you. Hold here. And slowly lower all the way down to the ground until you're resting on your stomach. And reach your arms back along your sides, palms face up. Press the tops of your feet firmly into the ground until you feel your kneecaps lift and your thighs tone. Lightly press your fingernails into the mat, lift your shoulders, lift your head and chest up. Keep your legs strong. Keep pressing the tops of your feet down. And exhale, release all the way back down. Okay, for round 2, clasp your hands behind your head. Make your legs very strong, just like you did before. First, press your elbows into the mat and lift your shoulders towards the sky. So you're squeezing your shoulder blades towards each other on your back. Keep that as best as possible. Lift your elbows away from the mat and lift your head and chest up against your hands. You may not be able to lift very high, but you're probably feeling those muscles in your upper back tone. Good. Exhale, release all the way back down. Take a breath. All right, plant your hands alongside your chest. Curl your toes under. Tone your belly. Press up to tabletop. Okay, inhale. Reach your right arm up to the sky for a twist. And exhale, sweep your right arm underneath your left. Thread the needle. You can stay right here. You could straighten your left arm alongside your ear or wrap your left arm behind your back. Or you could even straighten your left leg if that would feel good. Great, come back to center. And then switch sides. Reach your left arm up and sweep it underneath your right. Again, add on in any way that you like here. Good. Inhale, come back to center. All right, so now we're back in our tabletop position. Look down at your hands. I'm going to give you some general cues to set up your hand placement. So check out this crease in your wrist, right where your lower arm meets your hand, little crease there. Line it up about parallel with the front edge of your mat. And then line up your middle finger with your outer shoulder. So it may be a little wider position than you're used to. And if you feel like your hands are pointing a little bit too forward, or if it feels uncomfortable, try turning your hands out just a little bit. Good. Okay, now press your fingertips firmly into the mat. So it's like you're gripping the ground with your hands or your fingers. When you do that, or often, I'm not saying you particular, but often when people do that, the knuckle underneath their index finger pops up. So I don't know if you can see it, but they grip the ground and then they kind of get a cup in their hand. And we don't want that to happen. We want to press this knuckle firmly down into the mat also. So set up your hands again. Grip the ground with your finger pads and then press that knuckle right at the base of your index finger down. And what this helps you do is transfer some of the weight that's coming down through your shoulders into your wrist, and it transfers it out into your hands. Out into your fingers. So your fingers are helping distribute the weight that's coming down from your shoulders. And this is going to become really important when we do our arm balances, so that our arm balances don't feel like all of the weight is in our wrists. This is also important for down dog and plank pose. So if you're feeling some pressure or too much weight in your wrist, work your hands or work your fingers really well. Okay, so Grip the ground with your finger pads. Then tone your belly in, round your back, release your head and neck down. This is cat pose. Let's take a couple breaths here, so don't stop breathing. Don't hold your breath. Press your hands into the mat. Tone your belly up towards your spine and feel your upper back dome towards the sky. This is basically your arms and your upper back, actually your whole back and your belly tone for Bakasana or crow pose. Okay, let's reverse that. Cow pose, drop your belly, lift your chin, look up, keep your arms straight, but roll your shoulders back, pull your heart forward. It's a very small, subtle movement. Good, exhale, cat pose. Press the ground away from you as you tone your belly and round your back to the sky. Great, cow pose, drop your belly, lift your chin, look up, roll your shoulders back, pull your heart forward. Good, then find a neutral spine. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Notice if through all those transitions you've lost that good contact of your hands with the mat. Do you still have some space between your fingers? Are you still gripping the ground with your finger pads? Is that knuckle at the base of your index finger still pressing down? If not, fix it. I'm being fierce, but of course, always do what's best for your body. If this helps you, then do it. All right, inhale, come forward to plank pose. And just like you did in cat, with your hands very strong, press the ground away from you, even until you feel your upper back dome towards the sky. If you need to lower your knees to the mat, please do. Good, 2 more breaths. Tone your belly button towards your spine. And then exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Let's do 3 Cobra poses. Press the tops of your feet firmly down so your legs are strong and anchored. Roll your shoulders towards the sky, and then inhale, curl up, Cobra pose. Exhale, release back down. How are your hands doing? You still have good contact with the ground. Inhale, curl up, Bhujangasana. Exhale, release. Once more, inhale, curl up, and exhale, release. Very nice. Curl your toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Now, inhale, lift your right leg high. And exhale, swing your right leg forward into a lunge and lower your back knee to the mat. Lift your chest, Anjaneyasana. You can reach your arms to the sky. Lift your kneecaps to engage your thighs, tops your quads, tops of your legs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other and drag your back knee, your left knee towards your right heel and your right heel towards your back knee. Keep that. That's toned your legs very strongly. Pull your belly in, lift up, stretch back. Come back more upright. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Reach up through your left fingertips and side bend to your right. Find some length through the left side of your body. Now, keep that length as best as possible. Tone your belly back. So it's almost like you're rounding into this twist. We'll fix that in a minute. But round into the twist so that you can more easily bring your outer left shoulder to your outer right knee. Bring your palms to touch. Now, keep your legs strong. Lengthen your spine and twist a little more fully to the right. Good. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, plant your hands. Step back to downward facing dog. Send your right leg high into the air. Bend your right knee and stack your hips. Great. Lower your right leg down, down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, lunge. Lower your right knee, lift your chest, rise up. Anjaneyasana, stretch up. Then tone your legs strong. So lift your kneecaps to engage your thighs, the tops of your legs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Drag your back right knee towards your front left heel. Keep that. Power in your legs. Tone your belly, lift up, reach back. Come more upright. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Side bend over to the left, finding length along the right side of your body. Tone your belly back round over your left leg. Then bring your palms to touch. Now lengthen your spine, lift your heart, and twist more deeply. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to down dog, swing your left leg high, bend your left knee, stack your hips. Good, down dog. Again, inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, swing your right leg forward into a lunge and lower your back knee to the mat. Lift your chest, Anjaneyasana. Let's go through those actions again. Lift your kneecaps to engage your quads, the tops of your thighs. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Drag your left knee towards your right heel. Lift up, reach back. Excellent. Exhale, release your hands down to the inside of your right foot. We're setting up for lizard lunge. So you can widen your right foot to the right to give yourself some space. You can stay here. You can also bring your forearms down to the mat or to blocks, or even lift your back left knee high. For the last couple of breaths here, focus on squeezing your right knee towards your right shoulder. They may or may not actually touch here. Mine don't, but it's the action that's important. That action of squeezing your right knee in towards the middle of your pose or the midline of your pose. Great. Plant your hands. Step back to down dog. Again, swing your right leg high. Bend your right knee. Stack your hips. Okay, down dog, let's do the second side. Lift your left leg high. Swing your left leg forward. Lunge, lower your back knee. Lift up, Anjaneyasana, reach up. Lift your kneecaps, engage your thighs, your quads. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Drag your back right knee and your front left heel towards each other. Strong legs. Tone your belly, lift up, reach back. Excellent. Release your hands down to the inside of your left foot. Lizard lunge. Find your lizard lunge. You can widen your left foot to the left. Your arms can remain straight. Or bring your forearms down to the ground or blocks, or even lift your back right knee high. All right, press up and back down dog. Swing your left leg high. Bend your left knee, stack your hips. And then down dog. In down dog, walk your feet wide towards the outer edges of your mat. Bend your knees. Press down and forward with your hands. Tip your tailbone towards the sky. Press your chest, your belly back towards your thighs. Big stretch through your spine. Then walk your hands back, back, back. Turn your toes out. Land in Malasana squat. Wide variation of Malasana squat. Okay, from here, like we worked on back towards the beginning in our crow pose lying on our back, let's work squeezing our knees against our upper arms. So do that. Squeeze your knees against your upper arms. Hug in towards the midline of your pose. And then resist that by pressing your arms back against your inner knees. Then lift your chest up. So we've been working a little bit. We did some belly down back bends with the Cobra Poses, Cobra Pose variations, and we did cow pose to lift the chest. And what this helps in our arm balances, particularly arm balances like Bakasana, is it helps prevent you from rolling forward. That's a good thing, right? So Lift your heart here. Even though by just design of this pose, your shoulders are rolling forward, and it seems like, well, how am I supposed to do a back bend here? It's more the actions of a back bend by lifting your chest than it is an actual back bend. So 2 more breaths. Squeeze your knees against your upper arms, squeeze your arms back against your upper knees or your inner knees, and lift your heart. Good. Straighten your legs, turn your toes forward. Straighten your legs to any degree, I should say. If your backs of your legs are tight, you can keep your knees a little bent. So we're in like a wide Uttanasana here. And let's add a twist. Take your left hand to your right leg, reach your right arm to the sky. Okay, switch. Take your right hand to your left leg, reach your left arm up. Great. Lower your left hand down. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Bring your hands to your waist. Roll your shoulders towards the sky. Come all the way up to standing. Okay, walk your feet back together. And you're probably at the back of your mat, so come all the way forward to the front of your mat. And then find your Utkatasana, your chair pose. So if you prefer to do chair pose with your knees hip-width distance, I'm going to turn to face you just for a moment. So if your feet are hip-width distance, be sure when you sit down that your knees don't collapse in towards each other. Keep your knees pointing more over your toes. So that's one option, feet wide, or if you bring your big toes to touch, then you can squeeze your knees together. So pick whichever version feels the best in your body. We're going to sit really deep though, so sit super deep. So deep that you can bring your fingertips to the ground behind your heels. Stay this deep. Lift your chest, reach up. Tone your belly back, lift your chest. Again, stretch up, sit deep. Good. And then exhale, fold forward. Great. Bend your knees and take your knees wide. Now, I do have my big toes together, but if that doesn't feel good for you, then feel free to stay in your wider position. But if you would like to adjust now that we're in this lower squat to bringing your big toes together, then please do that. Okay, with your knees wide, walk your hands way out in front of you. Okay, and I'm even going to swim my arms forward. I see I can get a little more reach when I do that to get my chest really low in between my legs. Then lift your chin. Look forward. Bring your hands to the ground. Slide your hands back as you bend your elbows until your upper arms come to your inner knees. I'm going to scoot back. I'm off my mat a little bit. Okay. So upper arms against your inner knees. Now, just like we did in that wide Malasana squat a moment ago, squeeze your knees against your upper arms. Lift your chin. Keep your knees and your arms squeezing towards each other. Lift your chest. Keep your chest lifting and then slowly rock back onto your heels and come to seated. Lift your feet up. So we're in a seated Bakasana. Keep your knees squeezing against your upper arms. Bring the inner edges of your feet towards each other. Pull your heels towards your hips. Lift your chest. Great. Release, hug your knees in. So it's basically a seated Bakasana or a seated crow pose. Okay, come all the way back up to standing, back to the top of your mat. You might want to give yourself a little bit of space this time. Okay, again, chair pose. It's up to you, either hip-width distance or big toes touching. But bend your knees again so deeply you can take your fingertips to the ground behind you. Lift your chest, reach up, tone your belly. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and twist over your left leg. Just bringing a little mobility to the spine, some work to the legs. Lift your chest, twist. Good, inhale, come back to center. Twist over your left leg. Lift your heart, twist. Good, inhale, come back to center. Exhale, straighten your legs, fold forward. This time, bend your knees and lower your shins to the mat. Sit back onto your heels. Okay. So we looked at this a bit when we were doing cat pose earlier. So the arms will be similar to that. So hopefully you're seeing some repetition, getting to practice these actions in some different but related shapes. So look down at your hands as you place them alongside your knees. Bring some space between your fingers, grip the ground. With your fingertips, press that knuckle at the base of your index finger down. Now, keep your arms straight. Tone your belly back. So think cat pose. Press down. Lift your knees and hips high. So you're in a big curled up position with your knees and hips high. Good, and lower down. It's lots of work. Toes stay on the mat. So again, this is a very similar arm position, upper back position, work in the core and the arms that's required for crow pose. Okay, let's do that 2 more times. Press down, tone your belly in and up, lift your knees and hips high, and lower. All right, 1 more time. Press down, lift, and lower. Great job. Take a moment to catch your breath. Okay, we've got 1 more pose to work on before we get to Bakasana. So come back up to standing. We're going to do eagle pose. And we're going to do it in with a little bit different different work in the arms than maybe you're used to. Okay, so start with your feet hip width distance. Bend your knees. We're going to do the legs first. Lift your right leg up. Cross your right leg over your left. Either squeeze your legs together here or tuck your right toes behind your left calf. And then turn your hips forward so they're facing forward again. Okay. Again, we're just going to do the legs first. Unwind. Let's do the second side. Bend your knees. Lift your left leg up. Cross it over your right. Either squeeze your legs together here or tuck your toes and then aim your hips forward. Sit deep. Great. And unwind. Okay, now let's look at this arm position. Take your arms wide, swing your right arm under your left. And you can do all of this hugging your shoulders. We'll get the same work. Or backs of your hands together or palm to palm. Then lift your chest up, but pull your elbows down. Again, this is a very similar shape in the shoulders and chest that we're going to use in Bakasana, where the shoulders are rolling forward, but the chest is lifting up. Great. Unwind. Second side, left arm under right. Again, feel free to do all of this hugging your shoulders or backs of your hands together or palms to palms. Press down into your feet to help you lift your chest up. Even use your breath. Inhale, lift your chest. Keep it lifted. Exhale, pull your elbows down as your chest continues to lift up. All right, unwind, shake it out. Okay, let's put all that together. Do the legs first, then add the arms. Bend your knees. Cross your right leg over your left. You can tuck your toes. It's optional. And then, as best as possible, turn your hips forward again. Okay, take your arms wide. Wrap your right arm under your left. Find your version of eagle arms. Then lift your heart. Inhale. Pull your elbows down. Maybe sit a little deeper, but keep your chest lifting. Great. Unwind, shake it out. And last one, bend your knees. Cross your left knee over your right knee. Turn your hips more forward. Spread your arms, left arm under the right. Find your eagle arm position. Inhale, lift your chest. Keep your heart lifting. Pull your elbows down as you exhale. Maybe sit a little deeper. Keep your heart lifting. Awesome. And unwind, shake it out. Great. All right. As promised, got Bakasana. This first version I'm going to show you is using a block. This is a nice version to work because it helps you get this feeling of shifting your weight forward versus having to lift yourself up into the pose. This is called an arm balance, and so we often focus so much on the arm strength, the core strength that's required, and there certainly is a lot of both of those. But there is also an element of balance. We want our head far enough forward of our hands, which is kind of the central point of the pose, to balance out the weight of our butt and our feet. So that should tell you it's got to go pretty far forward. So again, I want to encourage you to think about this action of shifting forward. So keeping your heart lifted and shifting forward with your head to help find the balance versus trying to think about muscling yourself up into the pose. So we're going to think forward versus up. All right. So if you're using your block, of course, you don't have to use a block, but if you're using your block, turn it to the high side and put it out in front of you. And it's the block is always further to start than you think it should be, and you may have to adjust a little bit. But let's find that low squat that we did just a moment ago with your feet. If It's comfortable to bring your big toes together, bring your big toes together. If not, then take them wider. Take your knees wide, lower your chest down, reach way out in front of you. That's going to help you get some length through your sides and help you get your knees further up towards your armpits. Lift your chin. Remembering that, what's the first thing you would do if you want a forward roll? You drop your head, right? So keep your chin lifting and that'll help. It's not foolproof, but it'll help prevent you from rolling forward. So lift your chin. Spread your fingers wide, slide your hands back until your upper arms meet your inner knees, and then squeeze in. Squeeze your knees against your upper arms. Lift your heart, lift your chin. Grip the ground firmly with your hands. Rise to your tippy toes. So here, instead of thinking about pressing up, think about going forward until your forehead touches the block. Maybe your toes stay on the ground, or maybe you can lift your feet off the mat. Keep squeezing your knees in, tone your belly, round your back. Good. You can come down and rest. All right. If you like that version, we're going to do it again. So if you like that version, keep working with the block. And again, I just want to encourage you, particularly if you're using the block, but really with any variation, to really focus on lifting your heart and seeking forward with your forehead. So the block gives you something to kind of search for, to seek for with your forehead. If you're not using the block, just imagine you've got something out in front of you that you're kind of searching for with your forehead. Okay, so either keep using the block, or let's do it without the block. We'll start the same way. Find your low squat, take your knees wide. Walk your hands way out in front of you to get length through your sides. Lift your chin, lift your heart. Spread your fingers wide, slide your hands back. Squeeze your knees against your upper arms. Press your arms against your inner knees. Grip the ground with your fingertips. Lift your heart. Keep looking forward, rise to your tippy toes. Now search forward with your heart, with your forehead. Don't drop your head. You don't have to look at what your feet are doing. Okay, you can stay here with your toes on the ground, or maybe lift one knee or one foot or both. And if that's going well, the next thing to work on is straightening your arms. And you can come down and rest. All right, we're going to do it one more time. If you're still working, keep working. If you want to come down and kind of redo it with me, then you can. This time I will give you one other option for working with the blocks if you've got them. You can do this with one or two blocks stacked. 2 blocks is a little scarier. But what this does is we're going to stand with our feet on the blocks. And so that gets your hips nice and high. So then the only thing you have to do is shift your weight forward. So, all right, let's do it. Last time, well, of course, you can always stop the video and keep working if you want to keep working. But the last time, at least for this video, do whichever version you like. And if you want to do it with the blocks underneath your feet, feel free to join me with that. So I'm just going to stand with my feet on the blocks and then find that low squat. Reach my arms forward. Everything's the same. Lift my chin, lift your heart, spread your fingers wide, slide your hands back until your arms meet your inner knees. Squeeze your knees against your arms. Don't drop your head, particularly if you've got your feet on the block. Lift your chest, lift your chin, and then just shift your weight forward and maybe just tuck your toes back. The block's still there to rest your feet on if you need to. Excellent. If you're still working, keep working. If you're done, let's meet in child's pose. So take your time, finishing up. Give you about 30 more seconds where you can either rest with me in child's pose or finish up working your Bakasana. All right. Come on up to seated, either sitting back onto your heels, or if this doesn't feel good on your knees, you can just sit regular, cross-legged. Then clasp your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders back, lift your heart. We've done a lot of work with the shoulders rolling forward, so this is just going to counterbalance that. Great. And release. Okay. Grab your block, and if you don't have a block, a folded blanket will work for this as well. And then lie down onto your back. Bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet flat to the ground. Press into the mat, lift your hips up, slide the block or your folded blanket underneath your hips. And we don't want this underneath like our low back. We want to go lower than that so that it supports our sacrum, which is that triangular bone right at the back of your pelvis. Okay. So if you got a block, you can turn it higher if you want a deeper back bend. And you can stay here with your knees bent if that's feeling good, or straighten your legs forward. That'll help you get a nice stretch through the whole front side of your body, or you could even stretch your legs up to the sky. We'll be here for a few moments, so you can spend a few breaths in each of those different positions, or pick one that feels really good and stay there. If your legs are straight, rebend your knees, bring your feet flat to the mat, and lift your hips up, remove your block, and lower your hips back down. Then, like we did at the beginning, cross your right ankle over your left knee, Suki Rendrasana. You can stay here or hug your legs in. Keep your legs crossed, lower your left foot back to the mat if it's lifted, spread your arms wide, and then tip your legs over to the left for the twist till your right foot comes to the ground on the left side of your mat. Bring your legs back to center, keep them crossed. Walk your left foot wider to the left and lower your legs to the right. If this doesn't feel good with your right foot on your left thigh, you can lower your right foot to the mat. Bring your legs back to center and then switch the cross of your legs. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Again, you can stay right here or hug your legs in. Keep your legs crossed. Release your right foot to the mat if it's lifted. Spread your arms wide. And then tip your legs over to the right until your left foot comes to or towards the ground on the right side. Bring your legs back to center. Walk your right foot wider to the right and lower your legs to the left. Again, feel free to release your left foot to the mat if this doesn't feel good with it resting on your right thigh. Bring your legs back to center. Hug them into your chest one final time. You can add movement here. You can do happy baby. Or if there's something else that your body needs before you rest, please take the time to do that now. And then take as much time as you need, but when you're ready, find your resting position. That can be Shavasana with your arms and legs extended. Or feel free to choose a different position and add any props that will allow you to be more comfortable. Once you've found your resting position, let your breath become soft and gentle in and out of your nose or your mouth. Consciously release any lingering effort or tension in your body. And for the next few moments, just rest. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. You can bring small movements back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes or roll your wrists and ankles. Feel free to stretch your arms overhead for a full body stretch. Then bend your knees. Roll to your side. And press yourself up to seated. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. You can keep your eyes closed. We'll end with our invocation of peace. In a moment, you'll have the opportunity to say with me, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And when we say that invocation, we're asking for peace for ourselves, for family and our community, and for the world as a whole. So take a big, full, deep breath in with me. And together we say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Begin to rub your palms together, generating some heat between them. Gently cup your palms over your eyes. Blink your eyes open and release your hands down. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today.